Let's just take a breath, shall we? Welcome to today's explainer. We are completely stepping away from the relentless go, go, go pace of our busy lives to basically deconstruct a deeply immersive sensory journey. We're going to unpack the exact anatomy of a perfectly tranquil moment. It's all about the quietude of the morning mist.
Okay, let's dive right into the scene. Our source drops us literally at the very beginning of the day. Picture a crisp, cool autumn morning. I want you to really visualize that exact split second the sun starts to crest over the horizon. The sky isn't that harsh, bright blue yet. Instead, it's painted in these incredibly soft transitional hues. Think lavender and apricot. You are not rushing to find your keys. You definitely aren't doom scrolling through your emails before you've even brushed your teeth. No way. Instead, you're sitting on a wide wooden porch. Right in front of you is a sprawling, entirely tranquil lake, completely blanketed in a thick layer of morning mist. And notice how the text establishes that specific temperature, that crisp coolness. It makes the promise of warmth and comfort we're about to explore just so much more impactful. This is a setting that absolutely commands you to stop and just observe.
And, this brilliantly illustrates the dynamic contrast at play in our source material. On one hand, you have the macro environment, a world that the text describes as perfectly, utterly still, just the vastness of the lake and the open sky. But on the other hand, you have your microenvironment, your immediate tactile reality. You're wrapped securely in this thick, soft wool blanket. And this isn't just about physical warmth. The text points out a very specific, amazing sensory detail: the faint scent of cedarwood and sunshine woven right into the fabric of that blanket. I mean, how grounding is that? It's such an intimate detail. The sheer scale of the quiet, still world out there makes the cozy comfort of the blanket wrapping around you feel incredibly safe and deeply personal. It totally anchors you to this specific spot on the porch.
Now, this sensory immersion builds even further when we actually tune into the ambient soundscape. Because let's be real, perfect stillness in nature rarely means absolute dead silence, right? Actually, true tranquility is often highlighted by subtle, isolated sounds that somehow remind you of the quiet. According to our text, the only things breaking the absolute stillness here are twofold. First, there's the rhythmic, gentle lapping of water against the wooden pylons of the dock down below. It's like this steady, natural metronome. And second, you hear the distant melodic chirping of a single waking bird. These auditory details are absolutely crucial. Why? Because they ground this whole tranquil scene in reality. They aren't overwhelming noises at all. They are subtle reminders to imagine the vast, open space between those sounds. They basically invite you to listen closer, drawing your focus entirely into the present moment.
So now we arrive at what might be my favorite part, a deeply personal ritual highlighted in the text: the coffee experience. The source breaks this down into some incredibly mindful steps. First up, you hold a heavy ceramic mug filled with perfectly brewed coffee. Just notice the weight of that mug in your hands. It's another really grounding physical sensation. Second, you watch the steam. But it's not just regular steam. The text describes it curling upward in lazy, hypnotic ribbons, carrying this rich, nutty aroma of a fresh roast straight to you. And finally, you take a slow, deliberate sip, and it is the absolute ideal temperature. Remember that crisp, cool autumn air we talked about earlier? Well, the text explicitly notes how this perfect sip of coffee warms you from the inside out. It's just a fantastic, active engagement with your senses that completely roots you in the here and now.
As we shift our focus slightly, we see a really fascinating transition from the physical setting to your psychological state. The text sets up this beautiful comparison between the external world and your internal state. Externally, your only task, your only job, is just watching the mist slowly retreat across the glassy surface of the water. But internally, the shift is massive. The text states, there is nowhere you need to be, there is nothing demanding your attention. Think about that for a second. For this entire hour, all the obligations, the overflowing inbox, the errands, they simply cease to exist. This concept really captures the true essence of mental unburdening. It's a profound realization that just for this specific window of time, the immense pressure of daily life has been completely lifted. It allows your internal state to finally match the unhurried, lazy pace of the morning mist.
And as you just sit there, unburdened and observant, the environment absolutely rewards your patience. The text describes the mist slowly clearing across the glassy surface of the lake. It's literally like a curtain slowly rising on a grand stage. And what's unveiled? The changing autumn trees on the far shore, bursting into view with vibrant oranges and deep golds. Those muted, soft lavender and apricot tones of the dawn are suddenly contrasted with these incredibly rich, fiery autumn colors. It is a quiet visual spectacle, and it's happening entirely at its own pace. You aren't scrolling on your phone to see this. You aren't clicking a button to reveal it. You are simply present, allowing nature's slow, magnificent transition to unfold right before your very eyes.
So all of this culminates in one absolutely crucial definition provided by our source: quietude. Everything we've discussed so far, the crisp air, the cedarwood blanket, the rhythmic water, the hypnotic steam, the retreating mist, it all drives toward this exact mental destination. The text defines quietude as a profound, rare, blissful moment where your mind is finally as still and clear as the glassy lake before you. There is a direct, undeniable parallel being drawn here between the calm water of the environment and a perfectly clear human mind. When the external world is allowed to be simple and calm, and we actually take the time to truly immerse ourselves in it, our internal landscape mirrors that exact same clarity. It's a brilliant synthesis of setting and psychology.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to turn the mirror on to you for a second. We spent this time dissecting an incredibly specific, solitary, and quiet ideal presented by our source text. But tranquility is highly subjective. Does this type of quiet, solitary setting actually resonate with how you define a truly satisfying moment? Or when you think about your ultimate scenario for peace and happiness, does it maybe involve more activity, like the energy of a bustling city or deep social connection with friends and family? Hey, there's no wrong answer here. But by understanding the mechanics of how this quietude is constructed, we can better identify what truly brings us peace. Take a moment today to really reflect on your own personal parameters for satisfaction. What does your morning mist look like? Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and go find your own quietude.